Mars, the planet of action, energy, willpower, and aggression, makes a dynamic shift on June 7, 2025, as it exits its debilitation in Cancer and enters the fiery sign of Leo. This transition marks a powerful resurgence of Martian energy after a prolonged period of emotional vulnerability and internalized frustration that defined Mars's time in Cancer. Mars in Leo is like a warrior stepping into an arena with full confidence, strength, and ambition. This transit period until July 28 will be packed with intensity, initiative, and energetic flair, impacting the collective consciousness in highly visible and transformative ways. It is essential to note that these interpretations are based on Sidereal or Vedic Astrology, which accounts for the approximately 24-degree difference with the tropical zodiac. Leo is a fire sign ruled by the sun, and it symbolizes creativity, leadership, visibility, and self-expression. When Mars, another fiery and masculine planet, enters Leo, the combination creates a surge of passionate energy. This is a time when people will feel more assertive, expressive, and eager to lead. Mars feels empowered in Leo, and its debilitated sluggishness from Cancer is replaced with determination and boldness. The desire to take charge, to be seen and heard, and to act upon personal ambition grows stronger. This can be a very productive transit for those who are looking to push forward in creative ventures, take bold steps in career or personal projects, or reclaim personal power and agency. This energy must be channeled mindfully. With so much fire in the air, Mars, Leo, and the Mars-Ketu conjunction in Leo, there is a high risk of impulsiveness, dominant struggles, and emotional explosions. Mars's presence in Leo will bring focus to the house where Leo falls in your natal chart. This area of life will become active, charged, and possibly volatile if not handled with maturity. Whether it's your career, relationships, home life, or spiritual path, that area will demand attention and action. Mars will want to fix things there, to assert control, and to initiate transformation. The significance of this transit deepens due to Mars joining Ketu in Leo. Ketu is already in Leo, and their conjunction will create a particularly combustible mix. Both Mars and Ketu are fiery, action-oriented, and intense, but while Mars is outward and aggressive, Ketu is inward, detached, and unorthodox. Their union may produce erratic actions, impulsive behavior, sudden anger, or accidents if not managed properly. This combination also increases the potential for unexpected and chaotic events, particularly in areas governed by the house Leo occupies in the birth chart. On a collective level, the Mars-Ketu conjunction may manifest in political tensions, fiery outbursts in the media, or public uprisings, as Leo also represents authority and visibility. Mars's transit will also activate three important aspects: its fourth aspect to Scorpio, its seventh aspect to Aquarius, where Rahu is transiting, and its eighth aspect to Pisces, where Saturn is transiting. Mars's fourth aspect to Scorpio, its own sign, gives Scorpio strength and momentum, but not without challenges. Scorpio is a sign of depth, transformation, secrets, and psychological healing. With Mars energizing Scorpio, we may feel a strong urge to dig deep into our own psyche, unearth hidden truths, or take control of matters involving fear, change, or intimacy. The seventh aspect from Mars to Rahu in Aquarius is highly volatile. Rahu and Mars together form Angaraka Yoga, an intense energetic combination that amplifies impulsivity, restlessness, and confusion. Rahu also aspects Mars in return, creating a two-way channel of fire, distortion, and amplification. People may feel a sudden surge of energy but find it hard to direct it properly. This can lead to recklessness, argumentation, or confrontation, especially in social, technological, or group-related environments, as Aquarius represents the collective and social dynamics. This fiery axis between Leo and Aquarius could shake the foundation of relationships, group ideologies, or even friendships if ego clashes are not controlled. The eighth aspect of Mars to Saturn in Pisces is another significant friction point. Mars wants immediate results, action, and momentum, while Saturn demands patience, structure, and long-term commitment. This aspect can create deep frustration, especially where we feel blocked in our actions or ambitions. This can also be a time of breakthrough if we're able to combine Mars's drive with Saturn's discipline. Pisces, a sign of imagination, spirituality, and detachment, may feel a jolt of grounded realism or agitation. People may experience emotional conflict between taking practical actions and remaining in a state of surrender or flow. One of the key cautions of this transit is the potential for fire-related mishaps, literal or metaphorical. As Mars, Ketu, and Leo are all fiery, impulsive energies, fire hazards, overheating, both in machinery and human temper, inflammation, or sudden burnout are possible. At the emotional level, this can manifest as a short temper, conflicts, or emotional explosions. If Leo falls in your 4th, 7th, 8th, or 12th house, or if Mars loses directional strength or is weak in your natal chart, Extra care is needed in relationships, health, and safety. Despite its volatility, this Mars in Leo transit is not all danger and damage. It is also an opportunity to reclaim your personal power, assert yourself, and create something meaningful. Leo is a sign of performance, passion, and purpose. When Mars energizes it, you are being called to step into leadership, to act on your dreams, and to ignite your passions. The key is to do it with intention, emotional maturity, and awareness. If channeled properly, this fiery period can help you overcome inertia, express your authentic self, and make courageous decisions that reshape your future. It's crucial to perceive Mars as the planet of action. Wherever it transits in the chart or during transit, it ignites activity in matters associated with that specific house. If Mars is well positioned in the chart and during transit, it also takes on the role of a defender or protector, safeguarding the affairs related to the house it influences. To accurately assess the impact of these transits, it is crucial to consider your ascendant and moon signs. The ascendant sign offers insights into the timing of life events, while the moon sign reveals how you will emotionally respond to these changes. Take into account the position of your current Maha-dasha lord in your birth chart, as it can shed light on how these transits will influence the recurring themes of your current dasha period. This transit may manifest differently for each individual, and how they navigate this transit will depend on their personal charts. A more precise understanding of the impact of this transit can be gained by examining Mars's Ashtaka score in Leo. Keep in mind that the effects of this transit are contingent on Mars's interaction with the planets in individual birth charts. It's also worth noting that individuals currently experiencing the influence of Mars Dasha may feel the effects of this transit more intensely. To understand how this transit may affect you based on your zodiac sign and the houses it transits, let's delve into those specifics. Aries individuals are poised to experience a period of dynamic, intense, and sometimes conflicting energies during the upcoming Mars transit through Leo, especially in areas related to the 5th house: love, creativity, children, passion, and speculative ventures. Mars, as your sign lord, 1st house, and also ruler of the 8th house, transformation, secrets, obstacles, holds considerable sway over both your identity and your karmic evolution. With its movement into the fiery sign of Leo, a sign ruled by its friendly planet Sun, and further joined by Ketu, you will be under the influence of a powerful and transformational conjunction that can bring both opportunity and volatility. This is a time when your passions and creativity will run at full throttle. Mars in Leo enhances your drive to express yourself, to chase after things that make your heart race, and to assert your identity in a bold, unapologetic way. You might find yourself more interested in artistic pursuits, competitive sports, teaching, or even speculative markets. For those working in fields like media, entertainment, stock trading, or digital content creation, this could be a period where your visibility increases and you begin tapping into your full potential. The drive to create and perform will be unstoppable, but that very drive must be tempered with discipline and foresight. Mars does not transit Leo alone. It is accompanied by Ketu, the south node of the moon, a planet of detachment and karmic residue. This Mars-Ketu conjunction in your 5th house brings a paradoxical energy. On one hand, it fuels ambition and bold expression, but on the other, it introduces confusion, breaks, or even emotional detachment in areas related to romance and children. You may find yourself emotionally distanced from your partner or struggling to connect with your children during this time. If you are a student or working on a project that requires sustained intellectual focus, be prepared for distractions, shifts in direction, or internal confusion about what you truly want. Ketu can pull your attention inward or to less conventional domains like spirituality, astrology, or metaphysics. Relationships may experience both highs and lows during this transit. Those who are single might feel a strong urge to seek romantic connections, often driven by passion or impulse. The presence of Ketu suggests that such connections may be intense yet short-lived, or they may bring up unresolved issues from past relationships. For those already in a committed relationship, this period could rekindle passion and bring excitement back into your lives, but only if you avoid unnecessary conflicts and ego clashes. Mars' fiery and dominant nature must be moderated with empathy and patience, especially when discussing sensitive topics. In the area of children, this transit is a mixed bag. While your children may be enthusiastic, curious, and brimming with ideas, they may also experience sudden distractions or detachment in their academic pursuits. For Aries parents, this is a time to be supportive rather than critical. Harsh discipline could backfire. If you're trying to conceive, the energies of Mars and Ketu in the 5th house, combined with Saturn's placement in your 12th house, a 6/8 angle from Mars, suggest delays or complications. Medical advice and holistic care should not be ignored. From a career standpoint, this period could bring fluctuations. You might be putting in a lot of hard work without immediate recognition, especially if you're in a creative or speculative field. Rivals and competition at the workplace may become more active. It's important not to act impulsively, as Mars can make you overly reactive. Instead, observe your surroundings and adopt a strategic approach. Mars aspects its own sign, Scorpio, in your 8th house with its 4th aspect, which enhances your ability to tap into deeper insights and hidden resources. This could be an excellent time to research, dig deep into any investigative or technical projects, and uncover powerful insights that may benefit your professional life. The 8th house connection also brings an emphasis on transformation, particularly regarding shared finances, inheritances, insurance, or sudden gains. This is supported by Mars aspect to Scorpio, which often brings out buried truths. You may find yourself dealing with past financial matters, family legacies, or even occult subjects. If you're inclined toward astrology, tantra, psychology, or metaphysical sciences, this is an excellent time to study or teach these subjects. You might even begin a new spiritual practice, especially those involving discipline and physicality such as martial arts, yoga, or pranayama. Another important aspect of this transit is Mars' 7th aspect on the 11th house, the house of gains, friendships, and aspirations, where Rahu is currently placed. This can create a kind of Angaraka yoga, Mars-Rahu influence, a volatile but high-potential alignment. Expect sudden surges in income, unexpected gains from speculative sources, or networking breakthroughs. Be careful about the company you keep. There might be hidden agendas or betrayals among friends or colleagues. Also, your elder siblings, if any, could experience personal ups and downs during this time. Mars' 8th aspect on your 12th house, currently housing Saturn, brings attention to expenses, isolation, and subconscious patterns. You may feel the need to spend more, particularly on health, travel, or spiritual matters. Avoid impulsive spending and instead channel this energy into something meaningful, like a spiritual retreat, online courses, or overseas educational pursuits. If you're in a spiritual phase of life, this is a potent time for sadhana, meditation, or donating blood or charity, especially for karmic cleansing. All is not smooth sailing. The conjunction of Ketu and Mars can cause sudden halts in your plans. You may initiate something with great energy but face an abrupt break or need to pivot. Do not be disheartened. Understand that this is Ketu's way of redirecting your energy toward your soul's true path. Stay flexible. Your original plans might evolve into something better with time. Mars is your first lord. It represents you, and as it moves through the 5th house of purpose and expression, your entire life direction may come under introspection and potential transformation. Overall, the Mars transit in Leo is a powerful, passionate, and intense phase for Aries individuals. It activates an important trine house. With Ketu's influence, expect detachment, delays, and spiritual redirection in various areas. This transit is not necessarily negative, it's transformative. It demands that you balance drive with discipline, passion with patience, and ambition with awareness. If you do so, the results can be long-lasting and deeply fulfilling, not just materially but spiritually as well. For Taurus, Mars makes its fiery journey through the sign of Leo, activating the 4th house of home, emotional security, property, and mother. This transit is more intense than usual, not only because Mars itself is a planet of aggression and drive, but also because it is joined by Ketu, the headless shadow planet known for detachment, disruption, and spiritualization. This powerful conjunction in a fire sign like Leo is bound to shake up your inner and domestic world significantly. To begin with, Mars is the lord of your 7th house of partnerships and 12th house of foreign lands, losses, isolation, and spirituality. When these two houses' ruler enters the 4th house, the impact is both emotional and material. Your peace of mind, sense of belonging, and domestic happiness come under the influence of a transit that is both energetic and erratic. The 4th house represents your inner sanctuary, your home, mother, emotional roots, and property. And with a Mars-Ketu conjunction here, you might experience instability, impulsiveness, and emotional turbulence. You may find yourself more involved than usual in household affairs, but not always in a peaceful manner. There could be disagreements with your mother or older family members, or stress around your living situation. If you're living with family, tensions could rise due to ego clashes or emotional miscommunication. If you're living alone, feelings of isolation or emotional burnout may surface. Ketu detaches, and in the 4th house, it can lead to a sense of being emotionally unplugged or misunderstood. Your inner world may feel dry or overly intense during this time, and thus, finding outlets for expression will be important. For some, this transit may manifest as a chance to break old emotional patterns and rediscover peace through spiritual practices. Ketu, although disruptive, opens doors to inner growth and spiritual discipline. Practices like meditation, pranayama, or even studying occult sciences or astrology could bring healing during this phase. With Mars energizing this sector, physical activity such as gym or home-based fitness routines can also prove helpful for emotional balance. Mars aspects the 7th, 10th, and 11th houses from its position in the 4th house, adding further layers of complexity. The 7th house being one of the houses ruled by Mars in your chart, its direct aspect here signifies potential turbulence in your marital or committed relationships. Heated arguments, ego clashes, or emotional distancing with your partner could occur, especially if communication is already strained. For those planning to introduce a romantic partner to family or contemplating marriage, this might not be the most favorable window unless the dasha period in your chart supports it. If you're already married, there's also potential for reigniting passion and intimacy if both partners are willing to adapt and work through underlying tensions. In professional life, the 10th house aspect from Mars fuels ambition and drive. You may feel a sudden push to achieve, to act, to make a bold move at work. There's great potential here for career advancement, especially if you're in a role that involves leadership, strategy, or public influence. Rahu's presence in the 10th house means that your actions may be driven by illusions or unrealistic ambitions. Avoid being swept into office politics or taking shortcuts. They might backfire later. Stay focused, ethical, and strategic in your work. For those in business, especially partnerships or foreign-oriented ventures, the 11th house aspect indicates both opportunity and challenge. You may see a rise in income, especially if your business involves foreign clients, online platforms, or export-import. But due to the Mars-Saturn placement, there may be government regulations, restrictions, or unexpected delays in materializing gains. If you're dealing in property, vehicles, or real estate, be very careful with documentation and legal matters. Domestic expenditures may surge due to house repairs, legal property matters, or health expenses, especially concerning your mother. This isn't a great time to take risks with your finances. If you're planning to buy a house, rent a property, or invest in real estate, scrutinize every detail and avoid hasty decisions. There is a potential for losses or disagreements related to land or home ownership. Likewise, if you're in the building or construction industry, expect heightened pressure, possible conflicts with authorities, and delays. Stay compliant with regulations to avoid penalties or backlash. This transit may also bring physical relocation or a strong desire to move away from your current living space. This could be a literal shift to a new home or city, or a more symbolic change, such as disconnecting from old emotional patterns, family dynamics, or environments that no longer serve you. Those living abroad may have a chance to visit their homeland, or vice versa. Students, particularly in early education or high school, may find themselves more competitive and goal-driven. If focus is maintained, this can be a productive time academically. Politically active Taurus individuals or those involved in government services, police, army, administration, must tread carefully. Your public image may come under scrutiny, or you might face criticism or rebellion from your constituents or coworkers. Think carefully before making bold statements, especially in public platforms, as misinterpretations could occur. Mars in Leo is brave but can also be rash. Pair your courage with wisdom. On a more subtle level, this transit can stir long-buried emotional issues. You may find childhood memories resurfacing, unresolved family matters resurfacing, or a vague sense of restlessness brewing within. These are signals urging you to process rather than suppress. Avoid escapism and confront the root of your emotional disturbances. Therapy, journaling, and spiritual counseling could be deeply beneficial. The combination of Mars and Ketu in Leo is like a blazing sword. It can either cut you or free you. Channel its fire wisely, and you may emerge emotionally lighter, spiritually awakened, and materially wiser. Neglect its lessons, and the transit can feel like emotional chaos cloaked in external drama. Overall, Mars transit through Leo, your 4th house, is a potent time of emotional testing and external reshaping. It may not feel easy, but it holds deep transformative potential. Use this time to repair not only your house but your inner foundations. Reignite passion in your marriage, but leave ego behind. Focus on professional growth, but avoid shortcuts. If done right, this transit may leave you with a stronger home, clearer emotions, and sharper ambitions than before. For Gemini, the transit of Mars into Leo, specifically into your 3rd house, marks a period of high energy, action, and transformation across multiple areas of life. Mars is a dynamic, aggressive, and assertive planet, and in your case, it rules both the 6th house, Scorpio, of competition, health, and daily routine, and the 11th house, Aries, of gains, social network, and fulfillment of desires. This double rulership carries significant weight, as the 6th house shows your ability to deal with obstacles and opposition, while the 11th speaks to your ability to attain your goals and receive rewards. The 3rd house in astrology is a potent domain of communication, courage, creativity, initiative, younger siblings, neighbors, short-distance travel, and one's skill set. When Mars enters this fiery Leo sign ruled by its friend Sun, it gets empowered to perform strongly and boldly. Mars here will endow you with unshakable drive, raw courage, and the willingness to take bold risks. Your actions will carry a great deal of intensity, and your ability to assert yourself will be more pronounced than usual. But the addition of Ketu, sharp, mystical, and often dissociative, adds a wildcard energy to this combination, giving rise to both inner turmoil and outer brilliance. During this transit, you may notice a surge in ambition and willpower, especially in areas involving communication, media, marketing, writing, and business negotiations. You will not shy away from expressing your opinions, perhaps too strongly. Your speech might become cutting or confrontational, so it's essential to choose your words with mindfulness. The energy of Mars conjunct Ketu can produce a blunt, fearless speaking style that alienates others if not controlled. That said, this can be an excellent time to initiate new ventures that require personal branding, persuasion, or public speaking, provided you maintain emotional balance. Career-wise, the transit brings tremendous opportunities, particularly if you are in fields involving marketing, technology, media, or independent business. As Mars casts its 8th aspect onto your 10th house of career, ruled by Saturn in Pisces, you will feel driven to prove yourself at your workplace. There may be sudden opportunities, shifts in responsibilities, or even a competitive scenario in which you rise above rivals. Those running their own business or freelancing will especially benefit through increased visibility and assertiveness. Be cautious about taking on too much at once. Saturn's involvement suggests that only methodical, step-by-step efforts will bear real fruit. Avoid impulsive career decisions. Instead, focus on consistency and follow-through. Financially, with the 11th Lord Mars activating your 3rd house, you will see that your gains are directly tied to your initiative and networking. The more you communicate, reach out, and participate in projects, the better your financial outcomes. This is a powerful time to monetize your skills, particularly any technological, creative, or communication-related talents. Short travels or business-related trips may bring monetary success. Those involved in commissions, online work, sales, or journalism may see notable spikes in income. Speculative investments should be avoided during this time as Mars and Ketu's energy is too impulsive and scattered. Your relationships with siblings, especially younger ones, may come under pressure. The conjunction of Mars and Ketu in this house suggests potential disputes, ego clashes, or even estrangement if anger isn't managed well. Your aggressive or overly confident behavior could lead to misunderstandings. It's important to exercise compassion and patience in communication. What might begin as a minor disagreement could quickly escalate under this fiery influence. Similarly, conflicts with neighbors or within your local community are possible, especially if territorial or personal boundaries are tested. Be cautious about how you assert your presence in your immediate surroundings. Your romantic relationships or those with your spouse or partner may experience a confusing blend of increased passion and emotional detachment. Mars gives fire, while Ketu tends to cool or isolate. You may feel very intense about your partner one moment and emotionally cut off the next. This inconsistent emotional flow can lead to misunderstandings, especially if you express yourself harshly or act without considering your partner's feelings. It's advisable to avoid major relationship decisions, like breakups, confrontations, or ultimatums, during this transit. Focus on building bridges and keeping things stable. Health-wise, the 6th house lord transiting the 3rd can bring both strength and potential challenges. Your energy levels will rise. Your stamina and drive will be admirable. This is a fantastic time to take up fitness training, especially involving arms, shoulders, or upper body strength. Activities like martial arts, boxing, hiking, and gym workouts will help channel Mars's energy constructively. But due to the impulsive and aggressive nature of this transit, you must watch out for minor injuries, muscle strains, burns, or cuts, particularly during travel or while handling machinery. If you are prone to anxiety, this transit can trigger aggressive mental chatter. Practices like meditation, breath work, and grounding routines can stabilize the mind. Mars in the 3rd house aspects the 6th house, its own sign of Scorpio, creating a powerful yoga, a configuration known to destroy enemies and overcome competition. If you've been facing workplace politics, rivalry, or legal matters, you now have the upper hand to fight back and emerge victorious. This is a superb time to resolve conflicts, close pending issues, and re-establish your dominance. The same energy can be overused, if you become too aggressive, even allies may turn into opponents. From the 3rd house, Mars also aspects the 9th house of father, guru, belief systems, and long-distance travel. This can create ideological conflicts or ego-based friction with father figures, mentors, or teachers. Be cautious not to let your assertiveness turn into arrogance. Travel may be on the cards, but because Ketu is involved, double-check your plans and be prepared for sudden detours or cancellations. This is also a period where your beliefs may be challenged or transformed, especially through travel or philosophical exposure. Stay open-minded and avoid trying to impose your views on others. Finally, the energy of this transit activates the creative and technical dimensions of your personality. Mars and Ketu are both technical planets, and the 3rd house governs skills. If you've been thinking of learning a new software, joining a communication or design course, or even starting a YouTube channel or blog, this is the ideal time to begin. Just avoid multitasking too much or jumping between goals. Pick one area, stay consistent, and the results will come. Overall, this Mars transit in Leo, combined with Ketu's influence, is a power-packed time for Gemini individuals. It brings courage, drive, and opportunity, but also the potential for conflicts, ego clashes, and detachment. If you manage your impulses and channel the fiery energy constructively, this can be one of the most transformative and productive phases for professional progress, skill development, and personal growth. Stay grounded, remain mindful in speech and action, and make the most of this charged transit period. For Cancer, as Mars, your Yogacaraka planet, ruling both your 5th house of love, children, creativity and speculation, and the 10th house of career, profession, status, and authority, transits into Leo, your 2nd house of wealth, family, speech, and values. A highly energized and transformative phase begins. This transit carries profound implications, not just financially, but also in terms of relationships, speech, and mental emotional composure. The 2nd house is the wealth house, the seat of accumulated wealth, family ties, lineage, and communication. With Mars entering fiery Leo, where Ketu is already placed, you now experience the influence of 2 sharp, intense, and assertive planetary forces in your house of speech and money. Mars is quite comfortable in Leo, a sign ruled by his friend Sunday. Here, his energy becomes bold, confident, and commanding. But the presence of Ketu, known for its cutting, detached nature, creates a spiritual and psychological duality. You'll be driven to protect and expand your material resources, yet simultaneously may experience mental restlessness or dissatisfaction with what you have. The result: tremendous focus on 2nd house matters but also emotional volatility, especially in family affairs and communication. Financially, this transit can prove immensely beneficial. As both your 5th and 10th lord conjoin in the house of wealth, this is a strong wealth yoga and Raj yoga forming in transit. If your personal dasha period supports it, expect an influx of income through your profession, especially if you're in leadership roles, government jobs, or creative industries like media, content creation, teaching, or performing arts. If you're active on social media or in speculative ventures like stocks or cryptocurrency, this can bring lucrative returns, but only through calculated risk-taking. Rash decisions under Mars' fiery influence could lead to impulsive losses, especially because Ketu's presence in Leo clouds judgment by encouraging detachment or miscalculated confidence. Professionally, Mars' placement in your 2nd house can bring promotions, bonuses, salary hikes, or overdue recognition. The 10th lord and 2nd shows that your work is finally paying off, and your status in the workplace could rise substantially. If you've been waiting for the right moment to demand a raise or propose a business expansion, this transit offers you the right momentum, but provided you do so tactfully. Because while your work will speak volumes, your speech could invite trouble. Mars in Leo, especially conjoined with Ketu, sharpens your tongue and fuels your assertiveness. This can make you unintentionally blunt or even aggressive, which could create rifts, especially with colleagues or family members. So, while your financial graph may rise, tread carefully with your words. Avoid unnecessary arguments with elders, parents, or in-laws. This is particularly important since Ketu's presence often leads to disconnection or distancing in relationships. A careless comment, a moment of rage, or an emotionally charged disagreement can leave long-lasting marks on familial ties. If your in-laws or extended family are involved in your finances or business, be extra cautious during negotiations or financial planning. It's not the time to burn bridges. In love and relationships, the picture is mixed. Mars aspects your 5th house of romance from its placement in the 2nd house, activating passion and attraction. Couples can reignite their romantic spark, and singles may find intense new connections, especially those who meet through professional or financial networks. The presence of Ketu may also bring emotional detachment or confusion. You may feel simultaneously drawn to and distant from your partner. It's important to not let pride, ego, or communication mishaps ruin what could otherwise be a deeply affectionate period. Avoid being overly controlling or confrontational in relationships. Instead, allow emotional space and engage in heart-centered conversations. From a health perspective, this Mars transit demands attention, especially around issues related to blood pressure, inflammation, and digestion. With Mars in fiery Leo, the natural tendency to consume spicy, oily, or rich food may increase. Add to this Mars representation of blood and aggression, and issues like acidity, ulcers, or high BP could be triggered. Avoid consuming extremely hot food frequently, and maintain a balanced diet to prevent gastrointestinal flare-ups. Be cautious while handling sharp objects, especially in the kitchen. Minor cuts or burns are possible. Mars also aspects the 8th house from Leo, where Rahu may be placed, forming a kind of Angaraka yoga. This could indicate sudden, unexpected events or health scares, so avoid risky driving, extreme sports, or emotionally reactive behavior. That Mars-Ketu combination in the 2nd house also affects your mental health. You may feel unusually restless, driven by material goals, yet dissatisfied. The urge to accumulate wealth, respect, and status may intensify, but the fulfillment might feel fleeting. This is Ketu's subtle influence, making you question the very value of what you're chasing. If you're spiritually inclined, this is a good time to reflect on your core values and financial karma. You may benefit from giving back, whether through charity, family support, or spiritual donations. Mars also aspects your 9th house, Pisces, where Saturn is transiting. This supports spiritual retreats, long-distance journeys, or dharmic activities like pilgrimages. If you've long wished to travel for higher studies, spiritual guidance, or personal transformation, this transit could make it happen. Mars energy also supports students and researchers. If you're pursuing postgraduate studies, working in a lab, or preparing for competitive exams, you'll feel a surge of mental stamina and focus. Don't let Mars impatience make you rush through important work. Take your time, read thoroughly, and avoid overconfidence. Those involved in thesis writing or teaching may receive recognition or valuable feedback during this period. Still, one of the key warnings here is about investment behavior. You may be tempted to make high-stake investments, especially in speculation, property, or business ventures. But with Ketu in the mix and the 8th house, sudden losses, being aspect, think multiple times before you commit money. While some gains are likely, especially if you've already planted the seeds, new, impulsive ventures without due diligence could backfire. Overall, this Mars transit in Leo, joined with Ketu in your 2nd house, is dynamic, intense, and largely positive, especially for wealth and career. But the price of this growth is emotional vigilance. Speak wisely, avoid overaggression, control impulsive eating and spending, and don't let ego overtake empathy in family and romantic bonds. With discipline, reflection, and conscious effort, this period can elevate your public image, financial security, and emotional confidence. For Leo, when Mars transits into your 1st house, it initiates a period of intensified energy, ambition, and self-focus. Mars is a Yogacaraka planet for your sign, ruling both the 4th house of emotional stability, domestic life, and real estate, and the 9th house of fortune, dharma, higher learning, and long-distance journeys. This powerful dual rulership makes Mars extremely significant in shaping your material success and personal evolution. When it enters your 1st house, the house of self, vitality, personality, and appearance, the focus of all this planetary energy now converges directly onto you. This is not a passive influence. It's fiery, assertive, and action-oriented. You'll feel a tremendous surge in physical energy, drive, and confidence. Your personality will take on a more assertive, perhaps even dominant quality during this period. You may appear more bold, ambitious, and expressive to those around you. People will notice you, whether you want them to or not. There's a strong desire to assert yourself and take initiative in every aspect of your life. Whether it's in your appearance, fitness, career, or even relationships, this is a time where you'll feel compelled to do more, to prove yourself, and to establish your identity in a forceful way. This transit is not just about Mars. It also includes Ketu, the shadowy, detached, and spiritual planet that will be joining Mars in your 1st house. Mars and Ketu together in Leo is a rare and powerful combination. Ketu mimics Mars in its sharp, cutting energy, but while Mars is assertive and external, Ketu is subtle and internal. Their conjunction in the 1st house creates a dynamic that is both energizing and psychologically intense. You are not just asserting yourself, you are questioning the very purpose behind it. Your drive to achieve goals might be counterbalanced by a peculiar sense of detachment once you get what you desire. It's like fighting hard to reach a peak, only to find yourself emotionally indifferent once you're at the summit. This internal dissonance can lead to emotional volatility. You may experience mood swings, frustration, or moments of feeling spiritually disoriented. Your anger may surface quickly, often unexpectedly. This is where the true challenge lies. If left unchecked, this fiery, dual Mars energy can lead to conflicts, accidents, or rash decisions. If used wisely, it can fuel breakthroughs, physically, professionally, or spiritually. Channel your aggression into disciplined physical activities like gym workouts, martial arts, running, or high-intensity training. Meditation and breathing exercises are also highly recommended to help manage the underlying tension and karmic agitation stirred by Ketu. In terms of your professional life, this transit is set to bring significant momentum. You'll feel a newfound determination to achieve your ambitions. Those in leadership roles, entrepreneurship, armed forces, engineering, competitive sports, or law enforcement may find this time particularly rewarding. If you're in a job, new offers, possibly from international firms or through relocation, may come your way. Mars in Leo enhances your leadership and strategic planning skills. You'll be able to outshine competitors, introduce bold new ideas, and gain visibility in your career space. The 9th house connection also means that foreign travel or work-related trips are likely and will benefit your long-term career prospects. For business owners, the period is equally favorable. You may find ways to innovate or expand your work. Mars and Ketu in the 1st house also warn against impulsive or risky moves. Be cautious when signing contracts or entering partnerships. Ketu represents confusion and karmic entanglements. Mars brings rapid action, but Ketu often hides the fine print. If you make decisions without clarity, especially in legal or financial dealings, you may find yourself trapped in difficult situations later. Legal matters, real estate investments, and vehicle-related expenses should be approached with full due diligence. Financially, the transit looks promising, especially from land, property, and professional income. Mars' 4th aspect on its own sign Scorpio in the 4th house adds positive energy toward property dealings. Buying or selling real estate, investing in a vehicle, or renovating your home may be on your radar. This is a good time to make these decisions if you have verified all the terms carefully. If the paperwork is unclear or rushed, complications may arise later due to Ketu's involvement. In romantic relationships and marriages, you must be mindful of ego clashes. Mars' direct aspect on the 7th house, where Rahu is currently transiting, creates a volatile Angaraka Yoga, a fiery, combustible combination that can lead to conflicts and miscommunication with your spouse or business partners. You may unintentionally come off as dominating, stubborn, or insensitive. It is important to temper your language and manage your temper. Small misunderstandings can snowball into larger problems under this influence. If you are in a marriage or committed partnership, practice active listening, express appreciation, and give your partner space when needed. This influence also brings karmic relationships to the forefront. If you're single, someone from your past life or karmic past may re-enter your life, creating a strong yet complicated bond. Since Venus is also forming a trinal relationship with Mars during this time, romantic feelings may intensify. Because Ketu is involved, these relationships may come with a sense of spiritual connection and inevitable detachment. If you are going through a divorce or separation, settlements are likely to progress, but they may carry emotional weight or unresolved feelings. Approach all relationships, romantic or professional, with clarity and grounded expectations. Emotionally and psychologically, you are under intense pressure. Ketu's transit in the 1st house may cause identity shifts, spiritual restlessness, or sudden urges to withdraw. It can bring about a period of intense self-reflection. You may feel detached from goals, relationships, or even your own emotions. This can be both a blessing and a challenge. On one hand, you may experience deep spiritual insights or initiate inner healing. On the other hand, if you're unprepared, it can feel like a loss of direction. This is the time to reconnect with your higher beliefs, study spiritual texts, or explore practices like astrology, meditation, or yoga. Finally, Mars' aspect on the 8th house, Pisces, where Saturn is transiting, brings a hidden layer of transformative energy. This is an excellent time for those involved in research, investigation, occult sciences, or any deep analytical work. The 8th house influence may also bring some concern about health or hidden issues, both physical and emotional. If you're dealing with chronic health problems, this period could open a new path to recovery through alternative treatments or breakthroughs in diagnostics. Drive carefully during this time, especially if you're feeling irritable or restless, as minor injuries are possible. Overall, this Mars-Ketu transit in your 1st house is a double-edged sword. It equips you with unmatched determination, stamina, and magnetism, but it also tests your emotional balance, impulsivity, and spiritual maturity. This is a time to take bold actions, but only after thoughtful reflection. Focus on your goals, assert your identity, but do not lose yourself in the fire of ego or impulsiveness. If you can strike this balance, the rewards, both external and internal, will be profound. For Virgo, the upcoming transit of Mars into the sign of Leo, your 12th house, marks a highly charged and transformative period, one that blends themes of withdrawal, expense, karmic unraveling, spiritual pursuits, and volatile emotional shifts. Mars, the ruler of your 3rd house and 8th house, entering the 12th house brings a convergence of intense internal and external energies. This house governs isolation, foreign lands, expenses, sleep, losses, spiritual progress, and hidden enemies. To make matters more intense, Mars is conjoining Ketu in Leo. This conjunction adds a razor-sharp quality to your experience, amplifying not just action but also detachment, making this a truly karmic period for you. This transit is not lighthearted. It is deeply karmic, introspective, and at times, abrasive. Mars is a fiery planet entering a fiery sign, Leo, ruled by its friend, the Sun, yet doing so in a house that naturally seeks rest, dissolution, and surrender. You may feel as though you are being pulled in contradictory directions, your external life demanding drive and aggression, while your inner world seeks peace and spiritual detachment. The result can often be restlessness, insomnia, spiritual awakening, or emotional isolation. Professionally, this may not be a high-growth phase in the material sense. Your energy is likely to feel scattered, misdirected, or even stifled. The 12th house does not favor direct results from efforts in the external world. Hence, if you are pursuing career goals or business ventures during this time, you may face unexpected obstacles, delays, or sabotage, particularly if you are not meticulous in your work. Rivals may become more active, and mistakes, especially careless ones, can lead to professional setbacks. Business people should exercise extreme caution, especially when signing agreements or negotiating overseas deals, as the 12th house also governs foreign affairs. While foreign connections may blossom, they come at a price, either in the form of financial expenses, emotional strain, or legal entanglements. If you're employed, expect heightened pressure. Meeting targets may become difficult, especially as your mind may be overburdened with internal conflicts or fatigue. Miscommunication with seniors or subordinates is possible, leading to frustration or confrontation. Mars aspect on the 6th house, which hosts Rahu, creates an Angaraka yoga, a fiery, competitive, and intense combination. On one hand, it gives you strength to defeat enemies and face obstacles boldly, but on the other, it increases the risk of impulsive behavior, conflicts, and overexertion. Work-related stress can seep into your physical health and mental peace if not managed proactively. Your relationships, especially romantic or marital, require delicate handling. Mars' 8th aspect falls directly on the 7th house of marriage and partnerships. This can ignite friction, arguments, misunderstandings, or even distance. The presence of Ketu with Mars adds detachment or indifference, meaning you might emotionally disconnect from your partner. This can create significant tension, particularly if unresolved issues from the past resurface. If you're considering marriage, it's better to wait. Those already in troubled relationships must avoid impulsive decisions such as separation or divorce. Such choices made in haste now could be deeply regretted later. Interestingly, this phase also offers opportunities for profound spiritual transformation. The 12th house is a gateway to moksha, and Mars energizing this area can awaken your desire to explore deeper dimensions of existence. You may feel called to visit temples, retreats, or even consider pilgrimages, possibly to foreign lands. Practices like meditation or pranayama can be immensely beneficial now. This is also a good time for letting go, be it of habits, toxic emotional patterns, relationships, or fears. Mars being the 8th lord in the 12th house creates a form of Vipreet Raj Yoga, which means success through adversity. If you've been battling a difficult situation, like litigation, harassment, or health crisis, and you're in the right without malice, this transit can flip the outcome in your favor. Financially, the transit calls for caution. Mars in the 12th can trigger excessive or impulsive spending, especially related to foreign travel, medical treatments, or luxury indulgences. If you're trying to make long-term investments, focus on strategic and stable options rather than short-term speculative gains. Avoid risky ventures or get-rich-quick schemes, as losses are highly probable. Instead, any expenses related to spiritual learning, education abroad, or charity will serve you well karmically and may offer intangible returns in the long run. This is also an important period to watch your physical and mental health. The 12th house governs sleep and subconscious patterns, and Mars' active, restless nature may disturb your sleep cycle or induce anxious overthinking. Headaches, insomnia, digestive issues, or inflammation-related ailments are common during such transits. If you work with sharp tools, fire, machinery, or in a physically hazardous environment, be extra careful as minor injuries or accidents are possible. Mars' fourth aspect on your third house may increase your irritability and aggression in speech, so tone and communication style could spark unnecessary conflicts with siblings, neighbors, or coworkers. Avoid confrontational behavior or impulsive outbursts, as these can lead to lasting damage in your interpersonal relationships. Mars' aspect on the sixth house is both protective and risky. It energizes your ability to conquer enemies and overcome obstacles, but it can also trigger health issues or conflict in your daily routine. You may feel a strong urge to dominate or be overly assertive in work settings, which could backfire. The same goes for the seventh house, where Mars' fiery eighth aspect can bring intensity to relationships but also sudden breakups, especially if underlying tensions have been bubbling. Another important effect of this transit is on your third house: communication, courage, and younger siblings. Mars' aspect here could inflame issues with siblings or provoke verbal disputes. On a positive note, this aspect can also invigorate your courage, willpower, and passion for self-expression. If you're into writing, singing, content creation, or short-distance travel related to work, this could be a period of creative exploration, but only if you consciously choose to channel your energy constructively. There's also a very subtle but critical message this transit brings: the danger of escapism. The presence of both Mars and Ketu in the 12th house can create tendencies toward isolation, secrecy, or even self-destructive habits. Be cautious of falling into excessive escapism through intoxication, unhealthy fantasies, or obsessive thinking. The best use of this time is to engage in acts of selfless service, charity, and spending time in spiritual pursuits that ground you and calm your inner fire. Overall, this Mars transit in Leo in your 12th house is a period of internal combustion. It's not about outward achievement but inward transformation. While it may create some turbulence in your external life, especially in relationships, health, and career, it simultaneously opens a portal for spiritual growth, karmic clearing, and hidden strength. Navigate this time with awareness, discipline, and conscious effort. If you choose to face your fears, watch your words, serve others, and channel Mars energy constructively, this transit can lead to breakthroughs that set the foundation for long-term growth, even if it doesn't feel like it right away. For Libra, as Mars transits through Leo, your 11th house becomes a furnace of ambition, willpower, and intense karmic activity. Mars, the lord of your 2nd house, wealth, family, and values, and 7th house, spouse, partnerships, and public interaction, is stepping into a powerhouse placement. Leo, a sign ruled by the sun, is fiery, bold, and fixed, demanding conviction, courage, and clarity in action. And this time, it's not just Mars lighting up the 11th house. Ketu, the shadowy, sharp, and otherworldly energy, also joins Mars here. This is no ordinary transit. It's potent, purposeful, and pivotal for your desires, finances, relationships, and social standing. At the core of this transit is the powerful formation of wealth yoga, when the lord of the 2nd house of accumulated wealth moves into the 11th house of gains. It sets the stage for a financially fruitful period, especially if your ongoing dasha period is supportive. Expect significant growth in income, increase in savings, and gains from your past efforts. If you've been investing your energy into business ventures, freelancing, or any form of independent work, this is the window when the fruits of those labors begin to ripen. Your professional network could become the very ladder you climb. New contacts may turn into clients, associates into collaborators, and peers into allies. With Mars' sharp and aggressive energy blending with Ketu's detached and unpredictable aura, there's also a heavy layer of karmic reckoning in how you deal with your social groups and professional circles. While you're pushed towards greater visibility, achievement, and even some degree of fame or recognition, you must tread carefully. Fights, fallouts, or sudden disconnects with friends, colleagues, or older siblings, especially male ones, are likely. The source of friction could stem from financial issues, shared responsibilities, or ideological clashes. Your 7th Lord Mars in the 11th house also hints that your spouse or long-term partner could become a source of gain, comfort, or benefit. This might manifest as their income improving, a thoughtful gift, or deeper emotional support. For those seeking to marry or form partnerships, this transit is especially favorable. Mars's drive and Ketu's karmic link suggest that a relationship with a past life resonance might enter your life. But be cautious. Ketu's presence doesn't guarantee longevity or clarity. It brings mystique and intensity, but also potential confusion or detachment. Before diving into any new relationship, take time to understand the other person's intent and compatibility. Interestingly, the fiery duo in the 11th also triggers intense aspects to 3 other important houses. First, Mars directly aspects your 2nd house, Scorpio, its own sign, activating both your family matters and financial reserves. You may witness a sharp rise in wealth or sudden gain, but this also comes with the need to manage your anger and speech at home. Your words can cut or heal. Choose consciously. Family discussions around property, legacy, or joint investments may arise, and it's best to handle them diplomatically. Mars also aspects your 5th house, Aquarius, where Rahu is currently transiting. This Mars-Rahu dynamic can create a volatile atmosphere when it comes to your children, love life, or creative pursuits. While it fuels ambition and bold thinking, it also brings impulsive behavior. Speculative ventures such as gambling, crypto trading, or betting are not advisable now. Relationships with children might experience strain. If you're a parent, avoid over-disciplining or controlling behavior. Those in romantic relationships may feel a wave of detachment or conflict. This is the time when passion runs high, but emotional misunderstandings or ego clashes can undermine connection. Educationally and creatively, distractions are likely. Mars Ketu in Leo demands focus and commitment, but the aspect to the 5th house might lead to scattered attention or overexertion. If you're pursuing technical or skill-based education, especially anything related to engineering, software, defense, or sports, this can still be a productive period. Just avoid burnout and overcommitment. Mars' 8th aspect during this transit falls on your 6th house, Pisces, the house of health, competition, debts, and daily routines. Here lies Saturn, enforcing structure and responsibility. Mars's influence on this house can bring both challenges and triumphs. On the one hand, it creates powerful planetary configuration that leads to destruction of enemies. If you've been facing competition at work or rivalry in business, this could be the time you rise above. It's a great period to win over adversity, provided you channel your fire constructively. Health-wise, Mars in Leo with its aspect to Pisces may cause minor injuries, cuts, burns, or digestive issues. Be cautious while driving, cooking, or doing physical labor. Mars's rulership of your 2nd house indicates that someone in your family may face sudden health concerns, so pay extra attention to the elderly or those with chronic issues. Engaging in fitness or even martial arts during this transit can be a positive outlet for the Martian surge. Social service, especially related to animals, the underprivileged, or medical initiatives, like blood donation, can be very rewarding. This not only satisfies Ketu's higher spiritual call but also calms the fiery charge of Mars, making it a perfect channel to release excess energy. If you have pets, care for them consciously. They may need extra attention now. This Mars-Ketu transit also activates past life karmic patterns. The possibility of encountering people, especially friends, colleagues, or romantic interests, from a previous incarnation is real. You may experience deep attractions or sudden connections that feel fated. But be cautious. Ketu doesn't promise long-term emotional security. Instead, it delivers experiences that accelerate your soul's evolution, often through intensity or detachment. On the downside, there is a risk of ego clashes, especially in friendships and social circles. The 11th house governs collective energy, and Mars here may make you dominant or impulsive. Arguments over recognition, competition, or leadership may arise. If you work in a team setting, be diplomatic and avoid unnecessary confrontations. Your leadership qualities are strong now. Use them to unite, not divide. Overall, this transit of Mars and Ketu in Leo in your 11th house is a high-energy period, rich with opportunity and equally intense in karmic lessons. Financial gains, professional advancement, and the fulfillment of desires are all within reach, but they come with the responsibility to manage your emotions, temper your speech, and remain grounded. The drive to achieve is amplified. Use it wisely. Whether it's relationships, wealth, or career, this is the time to act deliberately, boldly, and with integrity. The universe is clearing the stage for you. Now step up and perform. Scorpio individuals are likely to experience one of the most eventful, empowering, and transformative phases of the year during the transit of Mars through Leo, especially in their professional life. Mars is not just any planet for you. It rules over your 1st house, giving it tremendous influence over your personality, drive, vitality, and overall direction in life. It also governs your 6th house, which deals with competition, enemies, service, health, debts, and daily routines. Its movement into your 10th house, the house of career, public image, and authority, brings a fiery momentum that can set the stage for a major shift in your public standing and ambitions. Mars in Leo, a friendly and energetic sign ruled by the Sun, becomes exceptionally powerful in the 10th house, its strongest directional placement, directional strength. It thrives here, blending its warrior-like energy with the authoritative fire of Leo to push you into a position where you're ready to take command of your destiny. Your ambitions will surge, and you'll begin to take more decisive action in your career. Whether it's asserting yourself in a leadership role, spearheading a major project, or striving for recognition, this is a time where your professional drive becomes undeniable. For those who've been waiting for a promotion, a chance to change jobs, or take a leap in their entrepreneurial ventures, the energy is now fully aligned to support such moves, especially if your current dasha period supports action-oriented results. This transit isn't without complexity. The presence of Ketu, the headless shadow planet, conjoined with Mars in Leo, adds an intense layer of karmic activity. Ketu behaves similarly to Mars in some ways, sharp, decisive, and intense, but unlike Mars, Ketu detaches. In your 10th house, this can lead to a dual effect. On one hand, you might rise in your profession like never before. On the other, you could also feel a strange lack of emotional satisfaction from your success. You might question the very work you're doing, even while receiving accolades for it. This internal dissonance might prompt you to seek a deeper purpose behind your career goals. If you're spiritually inclined, this could be a profound time of reflection and redirection. Your workplace environment might become a bit more charged during this period. Since the 6th Lord, Mars, is moving into the 10th, and is conjoined with Ketu, there could be hidden enemies or silent office politics that start surfacing. You might have to work harder to maintain your authority, fend off jealousy or competition, and stay grounded amid power struggles. The best approach is to channel this volatile energy into your productivity. Assert yourself when needed, but avoid unnecessary confrontations or attempts to dominate. This fiery energy needs to be tempered with maturity. Otherwise, it can backfire and lead to unwanted professional conflicts or reputation risks. From a financial perspective, there are strong indicators of gain. Mars and Ketu's presence here can bring wealth through career opportunities, new contracts, and possibly land-related ventures. Be very cautious if you are planning to sign legal contracts, especially in real estate or job-related matters. Ketu is known to cloud judgment and hide fine print, so double-check everything. If possible, delay big contractual decisions until after this transit, or consult an expert before signing anything binding. There's potential for financial advancement, but only if you proceed carefully and avoid impulsiveness. On the personal front, the 4th aspect of Mars on your 1st house will amplify your confidence, energy, and physical drive. You will appear more dynamic and magnetic to others, and your charisma will naturally attract attention. This same aspect can lead to health issues if not managed well. Since Mars governs blood and muscles, and with the added stress of career pressure, you may overlook your physical well-being. Watch for signs of high blood pressure, cholesterol, or minor injuries from gym-related activities or overexertion. If you're involved in physically demanding work, take proper precautions to avoid accidents or strain. Mars' 7th aspect on your 4th house, where Rahu is currently transiting, can bring disturbances to domestic life. You might find yourself bringing career stress into your home environment, leading to tension within the family. Issues with property, land, or vehicles could also surface. Avoid impulsive decisions related to buying or selling real estate, and be careful with real estate agents or brokers during this period. Your relationship with your mother might feel strained. She may be dealing with her own health issues or emotional challenges, so show empathy and maintain open lines of communication. For those with inheritance-related disputes in the family, the energy can trigger arguments or delays. Stay calm and seek resolution patiently. The 8th aspect of Mars on your 5th house also plays an important role in shaping the emotional and romantic side of your life during this transit. The 5th house governs love, romance, children, speculative gains, and creativity. Mars' intense aspect can bring sudden upheavals in these areas. If you're in a relationship, try to avoid becoming overly possessive or controlling, as this could cause misunderstandings or emotional detachment. Ketu's influence makes you feel disinterested right after achieving something you've long desired, including relationships. This emotional indifference can confuse both you and your partner. For singles, there could be impulsive attractions that lead to temporary or karmically intense relationships, but these might not have lasting stability. Be mindful about jumping into new commitments too quickly. For those trying to conceive, the energy isn't very supportive unless your personal dasha period shows clear indications. Mars' 8th aspect is not ideal for pregnancy and might indicate delays, complications, or just a lack of emotional readiness. If you're involved in speculative investments like trading, cryptocurrency, or risky startups, this is not a favorable time to take big risks. Saturn's slow-moving influence from Pisces in your 5th house asks you to be cautious and disciplined. Use this time to learn, observe, and make long-term, well-researched financial decisions rather than gambling on volatile opportunities. Students or those pursuing formal education might struggle to maintain focus during this period. While Mars supports technical and hands-on learning, the fiery distractions can hamper concentration. If you're pursuing a course related to engineering, sports, defense, or any technical field, you can make significant progress. Internship opportunities might open up, especially in the corporate or technology sectors, giving you a chance to gain real-world experience. Overall, Mars transit through Leo for Scorpio individuals is potent, catalytic, and filled with career-focused energy. It gives you the tools to dominate, grow, and build a powerful reputation. But with the Ketu conjunction, it asks you to remain self-aware and grounded. Channel your ambition wisely, don't let power go to your head, and take care of your physical health and domestic peace. This is a time of great rewards, but only if you act with maturity, precision, and foresight. For Sagittarius, as Mars, the fiery warrior of the Zodiac, transits through Leo, your 9th house, it ignites a dynamic and transformative phase in your life. Being the lord of your 5th house, love, creativity, intelligence, education, and 12th house, losses, expenses, foreign connections, spirituality, Mars holds a dual significance. Its movement into Leo, a sign of royalty, authority, and self-expression, particularly activates themes related to dharma, fortune, higher education, long-distance journeys, and spiritual pursuits. With Ketu also present in the same house, the energies become more intense, focused, and, at times, disruptive. This is not a light transit. It carries weight, depth, opportunity, and a fair share of caution. Professionally, this transit can unlock meaningful achievements and growth. The 9th house is the house of fortune and destiny, and Mars here acts as a catalyst. Your efforts will now start gaining recognition, although there could be some delays in rewards. If you're working in a corporate environment, you may experience greater visibility and might receive a promotion or perks, especially if your work has international dimensions. Business owners can also enjoy financial gains, and many of you may close profitable deals. Those in consulting, engineering, cybersecurity, army, or police forces could experience a particularly powerful upswing during this time. This is also an excellent period to explore publishing, online content creation, or teaching roles, especially if you've long considered launching something public, such as a blog, YouTube channel, or educational course. Because Mars also rules your 12th house, and it aspects its own sign of Scorpio, 12th house, there will be increased expenditures. Fortunately, much of this spending may go toward valuable experiences like long-distance travel, spiritual retreats, or fitness programs. Still, managing your finances wisely is important. There is potential for impulsive purchases, particularly driven by ego or emotional impulsiveness. Do not make hasty investment decisions in real estate or vehicles unless your personal dasha period supports it, and you've done thorough research. If you are in the field of architecture, large-scale construction, or real estate development, this could be a positive window. But again, diligence and careful planning are essential. In terms of education and intellectual pursuits, Mars placement in the 9th house, particularly as 5th lord, enhancing your focus, sharpness, and ambition in academic matters. Students pursuing higher education, especially in technical fields like engineering, law, research, and electronics, may find themselves more driven than ever before. If you've been preparing for competitive exams, this period could see a surge in your productivity. With Ketu's presence here, you might find yourself detached from your mentors or disagreeing with teachers and authority figures. Respectful dialogue and the ability to listen, even when your opinions differ, will serve you well. This transit also brings spiritual and philosophical leanings to the surface. You may find yourself questioning religious beliefs or becoming drawn to a new path of inner exploration. Whether it's meditation, studying scriptures, or exploring other belief systems, this is a time of deep inner growth. Long-distance pilgrimages or spiritual retreats are highly supported, especially if you feel emotionally or mentally scattered. The presence of both Mars and Ketu in Leo amplifies fire and purification, making it an ideal time to burn away outdated ideologies and open yourself to new wisdom. Relationship-wise, this transit adds both energy and volatility. With the 5th lord in the 9th house, you may express love more openly, and there can be developments in romantic relationships, particularly with someone from a different cultural or geographical background. For married individuals, this transit might prompt a more adventurous or philosophical bonding with your spouse. There is also the risk of friction due to disagreements, especially with paternal figures or in-laws. Arguments with your father, gurus, or dominant male mentors can arise, especially if you're rigid about your views. If handled with grace, such confrontations can lead to clarity and mutual respect. Without it, they may lead to temporary estrangement, especially as Ketu encourages detachment. Mars aspects the 3rd house from its 9th house placement, and Rahu is currently in Pisces there. This combination creates an Angaraka yoga, which can manifest as impulsive communication, reckless short-distance travel, and misunderstandings with siblings, neighbors, or close friends. Drive carefully, especially during short journeys, and avoid getting into unnecessary verbal duels or ego battles. Social media interactions can also turn heated, so be cautious before reacting in the heat of the moment. If you work in writing, journalism, digital content, or marketing, channel this aggressive mental energy into focused creativity rather than argumentation. On the domestic front, Mars also aspects your 4th house, Pisces, which may disturb peace at home. You could experience stress related to your mother's health or family property issues. If you've been planning to purchase or renovate a house, ensure all documents and agreements are legally sound. Emotional restlessness can also build up, so carving out time for grounding activities, like gardening, music, or spending time with pets, can be helpful. If you have young children, they might also display more aggressive or irritable behavior during this time, so patience and gentle guidance are key. On the health front, there are a few areas that require attention. Minor injuries such as cuts or burns, especially while cooking or handling sharp tools, can occur. Mars' aspect on the 4th house and presence in a fiery sign may also trigger back-related discomfort or sleep disturbances. Pranayama, or deep stretching exercises, can offer relief. You're encouraged to adopt a more disciplined fitness regimen now, particularly if you've been delaying it. This is an excellent time to start martial arts, gym routines, or any strength-building physical activity that channels Mars energy productively. For those already living abroad or planning to go, the combination of Mars and Ketu can open doors for travel or relocation, especially for spiritual or educational purposes. The 12th Lord's activation also means you may face bureaucracy-related delays, visa issues, or institutional red tape. Stay persistent and try not to lose patience if things take time. Overall, this Mars transit is a powerhouse for transformation if navigated consciously. The blend of 5th and 12th house energies activating the 9th house means you're being challenged to rise above ego, impulsiveness, and rigidity, and instead step into a higher level of wisdom, exploration, and self-discipline. Whether it's through education, spirituality, travel, or relationships, you are being nudged to find deeper meaning. The presence of Ketu only intensifies this journey inward. The key lies in channeling Mars' fierce willpower not just outward, but inward, toward mastering the self. For Capricorn, Mars transit in Leo brings an intense and transformational phase, as Mars will be activating your 8th house, a domain traditionally associated with upheaval, hidden matters, inheritance, and deep psychological shifts. This is further intensified by Ketu's simultaneous presence in Leo, creating a highly volatile, fiery, and unpredictable energy pattern. Mars, as the ruler of your 4th house, domestic life, inner peace, real estate, mother, and 11th house, income, gains, desires, entering this sensitive and hidden house indicates a period of inner churn, breakthroughs through crises, and possible sudden turns in multiple areas of life. The 8th house is where transformation happens. It's where you shed old skins and face both personal and external shadows. And Mars here, especially in Leo, a fiery and fixed sign ruled by its friend the Sun, acts like a fireball detonating in a cave. It wants to break through barriers, seek hidden truths, dominate the dark. This means you'll be driven to explore subjects that are taboo, spiritual, psychological, or deeply hidden. It's a brilliant time for researchers, scholars, or those involved in underground economies or industries like insurance, mining, or occult sciences. Ketu's conjunction intensifies the detachment from material life. You may experience moments of disinterest in everyday comforts, or even sudden disconnection from relationships and emotional patterns that once brought you comfort. This could especially play out in your home life, because Mars is also your 4th lord. Relocation or sudden disruptions at home are likely. You might be forced to change residences, or suddenly decide to live away from family, either for professional growth or due to a deep-seated emotional need for independence. Your relationship with your mother might experience some strain or misunderstanding, and a general restlessness in your domestic space can occur. Professionally, this Mars transit brings mixed outcomes. Since Mars is your 11th lord too, placed in the 8th house, there is potential for sudden gains. But these gains are not always straightforward or easy. If you're employed, deadlines might be missed, projects delayed, and pressure from superiors could lead to arguments, or a temporary dip in your professional reputation. Hidden competitors could arise. If you're in business, expected profits might not come through, and you may need to investigate areas where money is leaking or not being accounted for properly. Avoid impulsive decisions, especially those involving large sums or risky investments. Yet this same Mars-Ketu alignment could bring sudden windfalls, especially if you've invested in real estate, insurance, or long-term financial policies. The 11th lord and the 8th can bring returns from old or forgotten investments. Inheritances, gifts, or financial support from your spouse or in-laws may also be received. You must tread carefully. Avoid conflict over these matters, especially with siblings or extended family, as Mars' aspect on the second and third houses can lead to aggressive speech and communication breakdowns. Emotionally and in relationships, this transit requires careful handling. The 8th house rules intimacy, shared resources, and joint karmas, so this is a time where unresolved tension between you and your partner may come to the surface. Mars' fiery energy can trigger arguments over finances, emotional distance, or issues related to trust. Ketu's coldness can cause emotional withdrawal or detachment. You or your partner may become overly focused on personal goals, leading to a breakdown in romantic understanding. For some, this might trigger a temporary or even permanent separation if the relationship has been strained for a while. Therefore, awareness and mindfulness are important, especially in how you communicate. With Mars casting its aspects from the 8th house to your second, speech, family, wealth, third, communication, siblings, courage, and 11th, gains, networks, desires, these areas come under the radar. Your speech may become sharper, more impulsive, or confrontational, especially when discussing finances or emotional issues with family. Be cautious, especially if you're dealing with extended relatives or legal matters related to inheritance. Similarly, disputes with younger siblings may occur. Do not be impulsive in texts, emails, or social media posts, especially if you're in a public-facing profession. Mars and Saturn both influencing the 3rd house can lead to digital arguments that damage your image. On the flip side, this aspect on the 11th house is empowering. Mars' own house Scorpio falls here, and his aspect strengthens your drive toward fulfilling long-term ambitions. You will feel an intense desire to achieve your goals, and if you act with strategy and patience, you may find doors opening that were previously locked. Keep your plans under wraps. This is not the time to announce your dreams. Work behind the scenes. Be silent but focused. Ketu supports secret work, and Mars supports action. Use them both wisely. Health-wise, caution is needed. The 8th house rules chronic health issues and sudden accidents, and Mars is the planet of surgery, blood, and injury. You may suddenly find yourself needing a medical checkup or uncovering a hidden health concern. But this also means it's a great time to finally diagnose and begin treatment. If you've been postponing visits to the doctor, do it now. Avoid reckless driving, extreme adventure sports, or dangerous physical activities. The 8th house governs accidents, and Mars here, especially with Ketu, can cause abrupt harm if you're careless. The fire of Mars combined with the detachment of Ketu creates a perfect setting for spiritual breakthroughs. You may feel called to detach from the material world and immerse yourself in meditation, yogic practices, or even esoteric rituals. If you've been on the fence about committing to a spiritual path or mentor, this is a window to take the plunge. A deep interest in past lives, karmic debt, or hidden aspects of your psyche may arise, and pursuing these with discipline could be life-altering. Overall, this Mars transit in Leo in your 8th house marks a phase of intense inner and outer transformation. While challenges are present, especially in personal relationships and professional clarity, so too is the promise of breakthroughs, gains from hidden sources, and spiritual evolution. Success lies in your ability to stay grounded, avoid unnecessary conflict, drive with caution, and keep your ambitions to yourself until they mature. If you learn to channel the fiery force of Mars and the cutting detachment of Ketu into focused effort and spiritual awareness, this could be one of the most empowering periods of the year. Aquarius individuals are entering a phase of intense transformation during the transit of Mars through Leo, especially in the area of relationships, career, and personal identity. This period carries the combined firepower of Mars and Ketu in the 7th house, which signifies partnerships, marriage, business alliances, and public engagements. Mars, the lord of your 3rd and 10th houses, is transiting a friendly sign ruled by the Sun, creating powerful energetic shifts that will demand action, caution, and balance. Mars, being your 10th lord of career and karmic accomplishments, is transiting the 7th house, known as the 10th from the 10th, or the ultimate point of career fruition. This house acts as a mirror for your public life, and when the 10th lord comes here, it indicates that your professional work will gain public recognition, particularly if you're in roles that involve client dealings, teamwork, or partnership-based tasks. The 4th aspect of Mars directly energizes your 10th house of career, which it naturally rules via Scorpio. This creates a sharp focus on achieving goals, increasing status, and outperforming competitors. Promotions, long-awaited recognition, or even career transitions are possible, especially if your ongoing dasha period supports career advancement. Entrepreneurs will find this period highly activating. Your 3rd house lord, which rules initiative, marketing, and networking, is now operating from the 7th house. You are likely to channel all your courage and willpower into establishing, scaling, or aggressively promoting your business. With Ketu also in the mix, this is not ordinary marketing energy. It is fierce, cutthroat, and strategic. You may leave competitors behind, perhaps using unconventional tactics to pull ahead. Here lies the danger. If your strategies include unethical or manipulative moves, the backlash could be equally intense. Ketu's involvement means karmic results are swift. What you do now, especially in terms of false promises, public communication, or overcommitments, can either skyrocket your name or ruin your hard-earned reputation. In job settings, you will appear more dominant and assertive, especially in team scenarios, which are also governed by the 7th house. Your leadership qualities will shine, but so will your temper. With Mars and Ketu both influencing this house, expect arguments, power struggles, and a rigid stance from colleagues or clients. What can turn this to your favor is mindfulness. Channel that fire into diplomacy and results-driven dialogue rather than letting it spill into ego-driven disputes. You'll be tempted to push hard, but you must also pause and reflect before reacting. Your relationships, especially romantic and marital, are under the most intense scrutiny during this transit. The 7th house rules your spouse, committed relationships, and how you deal with others in one-on-one partnerships. Mars here amplifies sexual energy, attraction, and physical intensity. And with Ketu, there is also an underlying current of detachment, confusion, or karmic clearing. If you're in a healthy relationship, expect a mix of passion and emotional challenge. Your partner may become more assertive, or even aggressive, demanding attention or control. You may also experience growing dissatisfaction or distance. Venus, currently transiting Aries, a sign ruled by Mars, forms a 5-9 angular connection with Mars-Ketu in Leo, intensifying the emotional complexity. This forms a pseudo-conjunction, leading to emotional conflict, push-pull dynamics, and even possible breakups if things are not managed with maturity. For those filing for divorce or undergoing separation, this transit can bring about legal closure or final agreements. Since Ketu is involved, legal contracts must be read carefully. If you're entering into a new relationship, business deal, or marriage, ensure that everything is transparent. Ketu doesn't tolerate half-truths or illusions. Anything built on shaky foundations will crumble under the intensity of this transit. If you are single and seeking marriage, this period may bring opportunities, particularly through social circles, siblings, neighbors, or online platforms, as indicated by the 3rd house activation. But once again, emotional impulsivity and an aggressive approach can ruin promising connections. Be assertive but not overpowering, passionate but not reckless. Mars's aspect on the 1st house, where Rahu is currently placed, forms an Angaraka Yoga, Mars-Rahu conjunction by aspect, which enhances impulsivity, restlessness, and a desire to make bold life decisions. While this could lead to breakthroughs, it can also cause regrets if you jump into things without sufficient planning. Avoid sudden career changes, risky investments, or abrupt moves in personal life unless supported by strong analysis and dasha periods. This is especially true if you're involved in high-risk activities like adventure sports. Avoid them now as physical injury or accidents are more likely. The 8th aspect of Mars falls on your 2nd house of finances, family values, speech, and food habits. Saturn is already transiting Pisces here, creating a slow, cautious approach to finances. Mars's fiery aspect can now trigger sudden expenditures, aggressive arguments within family, or disagreements over property, inheritance, or shared resources. Be cautious while speaking to elders or extended family members. Your tone may come off as harsh even if unintentional. Financially, avoid impulsive investments. Ketu's influence on contracts also means that legal, financial, or investment decisions made hastily now could have long-term negative repercussions. On the health front, your eating habits, particularly related to spicy or heavy food, need moderation. Mars's aspect on the 2nd house can create digestive inflammation, acid reflux, or throat issues. Also, the impact on your 1st house through Rahu-Mars can lead to sudden stress, burnout, or blood pressure-related issues. Balancing your energy through meditation will help you cope better with this intense transit. Spiritually, this is a transformative time. Ketu in the 7th can lead to deep reflection on your soul's path and partnerships. This period can provide hidden insights and breakthroughs, especially if done with proper guidance. Finally, if you're involved in media, communication, or social media platforms, your words carry power. Be careful about what you post or how you present yourself. Ketu-Mars can elevate you or lead to mass criticism depending on your digital ethics and audience interactions. Overall, Aquarius individuals must be careful during this Mars transit through Leo. There's extraordinary potential for career growth, business expansion, and dynamic transformations in your personal relationships. But only if you can master your anger, channel your energy constructively, and avoid ego-driven impulses. While the heat of Mars and Ketu may provoke challenges, those who can harness this fire into focused action will emerge stronger, more successful, and spiritually evolved. For Pisces, as Mars begins its transit into Leo, entering your 6th house, a dynamic and eventful period unfolds for you, one that demands careful handling of health, finances, relationships, and communication. This 6th house governs debts, diseases, daily work, and enemies, and with Mars and Ketu both transiting through this fiery sign, the energetic charge becomes almost volcanic. Mars, as your 2nd and 9th house lord, carries the energy of wealth, speech, family, values, destiny, and long journeys into this battleground, bringing both challenge and opportunity. Leo, being a fixed fire sign ruled by the sun, enhances Mars's inherent qualities: bravery, aggression, willpower, and initiative, but it also amplifies your reactions, making this a time of great internal and external combustion if not handled with maturity. You will likely find yourself incredibly focused on defeating your obstacles. If you've been facing chronic health issues, debt burdens, legal complications, or professional rivalry, this is the phase where you can take charge and push back aggressively. Ketu's presence here, after an 18-year cycle, adds a spiritual and sharp undertone, cutting away unnecessary clutter, detaching you from toxic circumstances, and allowing you to develop surgical focus. This can make you uncompromising and bold in your approach, but there is a razor-thin line between assertion and aggression. Be mindful of becoming too militant in work settings or while dealing with adversaries. Professionally, this is a time where your efforts can bring about substantial victories. Mars in the 6th house makes you highly competitive, and with its aspects on the 9th and 12th houses, you may find yourself gaining recognition at work, becoming the problem solver in your organization, or being relied upon to navigate high-pressure situations. There could be travel opportunities, especially long-distance or foreign travel, for professional development, spiritual retreats, or even relocation. These trips might not go smoothly at first, requiring patience and resilience, but they will eventually bring growth and new perspectives. There is a strong possibility of friction with father figures, mentors, or authoritative personalities during this period. Mars, as the 9th lord of fortune and father, is temporarily inhabiting the 6th house of disputes. This can create a karmic situation where the guidance and support you expect from elders or mentors may either be withheld or given in a confrontational way. It's important to practice humility and be open to learning, even if it comes through criticism or correction. If you're involved in publishing, law, academics, or teaching, you may experience a phase of restructuring where certain efforts don't yield results immediately, but perseverance will eventually pay off. Financially, the terrain is mixed. Mars, as 2nd lord entering the 6th house, indicates expenditure related to debts, treatments, and possibly legal matters. If you've taken loans in the past, this is a phase where repayment can happen successfully, especially if planned well. But you must control unnecessary spending, particularly on things that provide temporary satisfaction but no long-term value. With Mars's aspect on your 12th house, which currently hosts Rahu, the potential for impulsive, obsessive spending increases, especially for luxury items, digital gadgets, or foreign travel. Avoid the temptation to indulge in hasty financial decisions or get-rich-quick schemes, as Mars-Rahu energy here can make you impulsive and illusion-prone. Your personal life will also feel this energetic upheaval. You may speak harshly or react impulsively in family conversations, leading to arguments or emotional distance. Since Mars rules your 2nd house of speech and family, and it now sits in the 6th house of conflicts, be extra careful about what you say and how you say it, especially to loved ones. Words once spoken cannot be taken back, and a moment of uncontrolled speech can damage long-standing relationships. A family member, possibly your father or someone with a paternal role, may also face a health issue, so remain attentive and encourage medical care if any symptoms arise. In terms of romantic and marital relationships, there could be sudden dissatisfaction or misunderstandings, as Mars, Ketu, and Venus form a sensitive trinal configuration affecting the 5th and 6th houses. This can manifest as emotional detachment, impulsive anger, or a growing sense of distance. To navigate this phase constructively, you must focus on spiritual connection, empathy, and understanding. Refrain from initiating conflicts or escalating disagreements. Use this time to deepen emotional intimacy through mutual respect and shared goals rather than relying only on physical or materialistic expressions of love. Health is a critical area of focus now. Mars gives you the energy to adopt a better fitness regime. Think running, weight training, or martial arts. But the same fire can also lead to injuries if you're not cautious. Burns, cuts, muscle pulls, or even road accidents could occur if you are reckless. Especially be careful around kitchen tools, hot appliances, or while driving. Ketu's influence may make you ignore symptoms or delay treatment out of a misplaced sense of invincibility. Don't do that. Listen to your body, and if any ailment arises, even something minor like a skin issue or inflammation, address it early. This is also an excellent time to invest in wellness, be it routine medical checkups. Pranayama and meditation can be especially helpful in controlling the fiery surge of emotions. On the spiritual front, Mars in the 6th house with its aspect to the 9th house boosts your inclination toward discipline in religious practices. You may want to visit a pilgrimage site or engage in volunteer work. Donating time, food, or money to causes that serve the underprivileged will not only bring peace but will also mitigate the harsher aspects of this transit. The 12th house's activation also opens the door to deeper subconscious healing. Spend time in quiet contemplation, journal your thoughts, and give yourself space to reflect. You must also be very cautious about your public image now. Mars aspects your 1st house from the 6th house, and Saturn sits in your 1st house. This makes it essential to act with utmost discipline, especially on social media or in public interactions. Any rash statement, insensitive joke, or politically incorrect post could draw a heavy backlash and tarnish your reputation. Make decisions deliberately, whether it's a business contract, an investment, or a new relationship. Double-check all documents before signing, and if something seems unclear, take professional advice instead of taking risks. Overall, Pisces, Mars in Leo in your 6th house brings a fiery boost of energy to your health, work, and battlefields of life. Used wisely, it can help you overcome debts, destroy enemies, and strengthen your routine. But if mishandled, it can lead to quarrels, impulsive actions, and unexpected losses. The key lies in strategy, patience, and self-awareness. As we conclude this episode, please remember that these insights are based on Sidereal or Vedic Astrology, which accounts for the approximately 24-degree difference from the tropical zodiac. Individual predictions may vary, as every birth chart is unique. The influence of dasha periods and natal planetary placements can shape transits differently, both positively and negatively. It's essential to consider your own birth chart when applying these general predictions to your personal circumstances. If you'd like personalized predictions or have questions about your astrological chart, feel free to reach out to us. Stay tuned for more astrological updates. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful astrology content. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to sharing more astrological wisdom with you in the future. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep shining bright.